Terror outfit Al-Qaeda is back in the news. Reports say it has a new chief. His name is Saif Al-Adel. The United Nations calls him Al-Qaeda's de facto and uncontested leader. The US has a $10 million bounty on him. But who is this man? Saif Al-Adel is a former Egyptian army lieutenant colonel. He was a close affiliate of Osama bin Laden. He's said to have taken over from Ayman al-Zawahiri. That's Al-Qaeda's previous leader, al-Zawahiri, who was taken down by an American drone strike in Afghanistan last year. Al-Adel was seen as the likely successor. But here's a more significant part. He's said to be operating from Iran. And why is this significant? Because it adds a fresh dimension to America's tussle with Iran. Our next report tells you more.
In July 2022, the United States conducted a drone strike in Kabul. It took out Ayman al-Zawahiri, chief of terror group Al-Qaeda. US President Joe Biden said the strikes delivered justice. 7 months on, Al-Qaeda has a new leader, Saif Al-Adel. The United Nations says Al-Adel is the de facto leader of Al-Qaeda. While the group is yet to officially announce al-Zawahiri's successor, Al-Adel's elevation hardly comes as a surprise. He's 62 years old, a former colonel in the Egyptian army. He's suspected of having assassinated then-President Anwar al-Sadat. His association with Al-Qaeda dates back to the 1980s. That's when he handled Al-Qaeda's training camps. In fact, Al-Adel is credited with training those behind the 9/11 attacks. He was also a close associate of Al-Qaeda founder Osama bin Laden. Al-Adel is on the FBI's most wanted list. He has a $10 million bounty on him. Unlike his predecessors, he's known to keep a low profile. Reports say he's been operating out of Iran and has been based there since 2002. He's made some trips to Pakistan too. The UN believes Al-Adel's location throws up a question, a larger battle in the Islamic world's Shia-Sunni divide. His location raises a question that has a bearing on Al-Qaeda's ambitions to assert leadership of a global movement in the face of challenges from ISIL. Al-Adel's presence in Iran has another implication. It gives the US one more front to open against Iran. Ties haven't improved. The nuclear deal is far from being revived. The US is convinced that Iran is sheltering terrorists, posing a threat to the world.
First, on Saif Al-Adel, our assessment aligns with that of the UN, the assessment that you referenced, that Saif Al-Adel is based in Iran. When it comes to his presence there, offering safe haven to Al-Qaeda is just another example of Iran's wide-ranging support for terrorism, its destabilizing activities in the Middle East and beyond.
Iran on its part denies the charges, but its record doesn't help. This is Abu Muhammad al-Masri, Al-Qaeda's number 2, also accused in the 1998 US embassy bombings. Israeli agents shot him dead in Tehran a few years ago. Iran says the new Al-Qaeda chief is not on its soil. It's worth noting that the address for the so-called newly appointed Al-Qaeda leader is incorrect. This misinformation could potentially hinder efforts to combat terrorism. As Tehran and Washington battle it out, the leadership transition would also mark a new phase for Al-Qaeda. It's the third one in a decade. First, it was Osama bin Laden. Then, Ayman al-Zawahiri. Now, Saif Al-Adel. Under bin Laden, the group flourished. It expanded operations in Africa, West Asia, and South Asia, with more than a dozen affiliates. The 9/11 attacks was the highlight. But since bin Laden's death in 2011, Al-Qaeda has been plagued by an aging leadership. It struggled for relevance and broke into splinter groups. In 2014, one such group called the Caliphate Soldiers emerged in Algeria. And of course, there's ISIS. The return of the Taliban in Afghanistan in 2021 is said to have helped them. A UN report says Kabul is a safe haven for terrorists. With the Taliban in power and a new leader in charge, the threat from Al-Qaeda is far from over.